Hello, hi Sumit. This is Keshav from Collegepedia, and today we will be starting with the Hangout Guide to IIT.
Sure,
So we'll start with some questions.
sure.
First of all, why IIT? Like why should a person go for IIT?
Okay, that's a very standard question. See, IIT is not really a kind of college. It's a kind of philosophy. It's not simply an educational program. You need to lean yourself into it. You get along with it, and you have to understand the complete philosophy of IIT before you can actually pass out. The time when you pass out from IIT, you are a completely different person. So it actually transforms life.
So basically, it's not just the education curriculum. It's also about the people you will be meeting there, as in the overall experience of the person, isn't it?
That's correct. That's correct. It's not really the education curriculum. See, the education curriculum is not very different as compared to any other engineering college. If you look at the structure, it is not very different. But the way it is taught, the way you are groomed by the faculties, that is the most important thing. That is the segregating factor. That's the reason IIT is a difference.
Okay, and next question we'll be discussing about the format of IIT JEE. The format has been changing for last 10 years, and there have been very recent changes. So as a
Right.
student, what should be my preparation for the new JEE format?
See, we need to be very methodical when we are preparation. First is the JEE mains, and then we have the JEE advanced. So we need to take one step at a time. The first thing is to get through the JEE mains, and for that we also have to be very clear about what exactly we are planning to get in our board examination. Because board examinations, the marks as well as the preparation that we do for the boards are going to be very helpful for the JEE mains preparations. So first of all, we should be targeting our JEE mains. If we get a very good score in JEE mains, then we should focus on our JEE advanced, because we will have a couple of days, to be precise, between JEE mains and the JEE advanced. So the trick that I would like to suggest is that we should focus on the different subjects specifically. We have to focus on our main important areas, and then accordingly we have to prepare for the mains examination first, and then we should be focusing on the advanced. If we try focusing on both the things together, obviously our plannings are going to get jeopardized.
Okay, I would like to add one more point to this. Like a person should be
Sure.
focusing on all the three subjects altogether,
Yes,
because a person cannot be very good in one and just neglect the other one. Apart from
that's a
that,
very good point.
yeah.
That's
Apart
a
from
very good
that,
point.
what do you think about, like, how should a person be going about the boards preparation and JEE preparation? Because a person has to give his 100% in both of them from in the current
That's
format.
perfect.
So how should a student be going about that?
See, let me tell you some things. As far as the syllabus for JEE is concerned, the syllabus for JEE is not much different from the class 11th and 12th syllabus. It's just the application that is different, and the way you prepare for your examination for JEE and for your boards is slightly different. Right? Now, if we first have to focus for our boards examination, it's a common misconception that if you focus for JEE, you cannot get good marks in JEE. You cannot get good marks in boards. The reason why I am saying that it's a misconception is that if you understand about a particular concept, let's say speed or velocity, the difference between that, if you understand the difference, the conceptual difference, obviously you can apply that into the problems, and that's going to be helpful for a JEE, and you can understand and define it for your board examinations. So it's not really anything different. So what I would suggest here is the following, that when we are preparing for our JEE, obviously all our concepts get clear. It's just that if you plan it accordingly, that since we already know about the concept, we have to just revise it, the definitions for our board examination. So if we do the planning properly, in that case 1 to 1.5 months should be good enough, because we have already done our preparation for your JEE.
Okay, my next question will be, right
Yeah.
now it's already December and the exams
Right.
are very near, so students will have, I guess, 3 to 4 months for preparing for IIT as well as boards. So what should be the
Right.
current strategy for the students?
See, what I would like to suggest is that let's target that we just have 1 month for clearing JEE. How exactly we are going to do that? Why I'm saying this? The reason I'm saying this is for the simple thing that even if I take, let's say, 25th of November, or let's say 20th of December now. So if you look at it, so right from 25th of November, if I just try to calculate, there are roughly around 76 days, 76 to 77 days. Now for this, you would be preparing for your pre-board examinations. Generally, the pre-boards are held during December or January, right? So if you deduct from these 76, 77 days, 1 month, so roughly around 45 to 46 days are left. So our preparation for boards should be focused on those pre-boards in that 1 month. It's just good enough for you to be preparing. Plus, obviously your pre-boards are not going to be over in a particular day or two. It's going to be taking a week or so. So roughly only around 30 days would be left for you to prepare for JEE Mains. So effectively, you have more time for your boards than for your mains. So before you start preparing, because right now obviously you would have either your pre-boards would have already started, or they are just going to start. So therefore you would have obviously prepared for the JEE Mains, and now you should be focusing thoroughly on getting your CBSE or your state boards or ICSE boards concept in perfect shape.
Yes, Sumit, I agree. A person should be very much focused on one exam at a time. First the boards,
Right.
then the JEE 2 exams.
Correct.
My next question will be, what will be the tips for the students while they are attempting the JEE question paper? While like those big hours when a person has to attempt the question, what should be his mindset, and like what should he be doing at that time?
That's a very, very good point. See, when you are trying to attempt a question, you should segregate. First of all, don't be in a hurry. Go as slow as you can. So for that, first, try to be completely positive. Means just forget about every kind of stress. If you don't get through, what is going to happen, blah blah blah. Forget about that. Just stay focused. Be positive. Then, with a fresh frame of mind, read the complete question paper at least once. When you read through it, your mind should be developing the answers for some of the questions. Just segregate those questions. Once you have segregated that, don't take stress. If you are not able to attempt a particular question, just move over to the next one. And for developing this, you need to practice the JEE level questions before. You would have practiced the JEE level questions before. So therefore, when you are trying to attempt it, first see, when you have seen that which questions you are going to attempt first, then there are going to be some outliers. Obviously, they should be ruled out. Then there should be some technically correct options. You should rule them out. It means that only the correct option should be selected. You can narrow down your options. So that's going to be very, very useful. Foremost thing, what I have observed in the students is that if you think a particular option is correct in the first go, think about it that may be the correct option, because it has been seen that the first choice that you make, or first guess that you make, is in general, or more than 50% of the time, is the correct answer. So these are, broadly speaking, some of the tips that you should attempt. but try to do as less as possible as the guesswork.
Yes, Sumit, I'll also like to add in some of the points we do tell to our students as well. First of
Right.
all, a person should go with a strategy when he's entering the exam. So basically,
Right.
when you're suppose it's a 3 hours question paper and you are thinking of giving like limited amount to each and every subject. So maybe you should have a strategy, like maybe you should give if your physics is good, you can give like 50 minutes to physics, then 1 hour to maths, and then maybe what, like if chemistry is supposed to be a subject which is not very mathematical, so maybe you can give like 45 minutes to 50 minutes to that, and whatever rest 20 minutes you have left, finally you have to utilize that in a very very smart way. You have to choose the questions which you think can be done. The basic aim when you're going into exam like IIT JEE, you have to maximize your score. So
Perfect,
time
yeah.
is a very very important commodity over there. So you have
Right.
to need to have a strategy before you enter the exam, and practice that strategy in at least a lot of test papers. While
agree.
you are preparing for
I
the
agree.
exam, try different strategies. Once you have come up with a strategy that you think will stick to you in JEE, you have to practice that at least 10 times before you go for the final exams.
Sure. Definitely.
Emotional quotient is again very very important for students. IIT JEE is a very very tough exam, as we all know, especially in terms of undergrad. It is one of the toughest exam. A person has
That's
to
true.
maintain his composure for like 2 years, and then he has to prepare for one big day in which will decide a lot of what he has done. So emotional quotient is
Right.
really important. Can you give some tips how a person should be coping with the pressure, peer pressure, mental pressure, everything?
Yeah. Okay. I would just give an example of a Bollywood movie. A couple of years back, quite a few would have seen that movie, that Chapte. There was a famous dialogue in that. It says that you just have 90 minutes. I'm not going to tell you. The course tells you that I am not going to tell you how to play in these 90 minutes. So it's the same way. There can be multiple amounts of strategies. What you said is completely correct. That means the tutors or the trainers can suggest multiple strategies. For instance, I'll just give you 3 strategies. Majority of my students would have actually opted for each of the strategy equally, and they're equally successful. So I am not going to say which of the strategies should be followed by a particular. For instance, a few of the strategies that I suggest is that you equally divide your day into 3 equal parts, starting off with mathematics, and then either physics or chemistry. The reason why I'm saying that starting off with mathematics is that mathematics is mainly numericals. So when you're starting your preparations, then the fresh mind can attempt the numericals much more faster, and therefore it becomes a much more constructive approach. That's what I have felt. And then you go on to the theoretical concepts of the physics and followed by chemistry, because chemistry has majority part of the theoretical parts. If we talk about the organic and the inorganic part, physics also has some numericals parts. So let's attempt the numerical part first and then go over to the theoretical part. This is the same strategy what I would like to suggest to anyone who is appearing. The reason is this: because if you attempt the numericals first, there is a very less likelihood that your answers are going to go wrong, because you are attempting them with a completely fresh frame of mind. For the theoretical concepts, you have to recollect quite a few things, and therefore you need to think about it and you need to devote your time. As you correctly said, the time management is very very important, and we should not think that the complete duration of the time is with us. We should stick to it, and we should think that only we have 75% of the time and we have to finish with that. If we target for 75%, only then we'll be able to finish earliest by 85%. So we'll only be left with a very very small gap of 15% time. That's very much necessary to revise whatever you have done and also attempt those which you have left. because invariably most of the students find that the time is completely less. So sorry, I spilled over to this thing. I should also tell you about the strategies. The other strategy that I intend to tell students is that first focus on the mathematics, let's say for 1 hour of the day, and the next 2 hours to either physics or chemistry. Or similarly, if you are studying for something, let's say 2 to 3 hours in a day, which is going to be less, but if you are studying for that, then focus on either physics or chemistry on one day, maths on the other, and then chemistry or physics on the other day, followed by maths. Why I'm saying this? Because maths would need more practice because you have to work them out. And moreover, if you work them out for mains, if you prepare for mains, obviously your board preparation would be completely done. Because all the types of questions that you'll be practicing for mains would be covered in your boards. So you don't really have to prepare separately, which is a common notion that you have to work separately for boards. That is not correct.
Yeah, that is a very nice strategy indeed. The fact that when you're in the morning, you're very fresh and you can work out the maths problem first, and then you can go to the theoretical part. That is a very nice strategy indeed. On the emotional question, we would like to add a few more points that, like, because it's a 2-year preparation, a person has to be consistent. So he cannot be overworking himself out for a few periods, and he cannot be like slacking on the rest of the period. You have to be consistent all the way. Sumit, you are also a faculty, and like you must be knowing this, that students tend to compare themselves with other students, maybe one which are very much very much brilliant, and they go in a lot of mental pressure because of that. So that is one of the things a person should not be comparing himself with anyone. It is your exam, it is your war. You have to go through it and you have to clear this exam.
Okay, so what I suggest, sorry to interrupt you, what I suggest to my students is that it is just one seat that you need. Forget about who are you comparing with. You may be comparing with a person who may be brilliant, but it is what you do in that duration that is important. You should focus on that one seat. Forget about how many students are comparing, how many students are you competing with. That doesn't matter. It's just that one seat that is important. Moreover, when you try to compare it with your peers, let me give you an example. It's been a couple of years now for me that I passed out. As a matter of fact, I don't want to boast anything, but I did not have a very good rank in my school. As a matter of fact, my school topper couldn't get through the IIT, and I did manage to do that. He did get through the bits, reason being there was a percentage-based admission that time.
Yeah, yes.
So don't compare, don't think that since a particular person is getting, let's say, 90%, 95%, 97%, irrespective of that, that is immaterial. That's a board marks. Please understand
that is right, Sumit. That is true that we have to focus on our preparation and not see the other people. One last quick question, and then we'll wind up this session. As like everything is shifting on to online avenues right now, like in Collegepedia we do have online video lectures. A person is also in askIITians, as it is one of the best online academies. A person has to shift from a classroom mindset to an online education mindset. Any small last moment tips, like what should be the tips for the students studying from an online classroom material?
Okay, when you are studying from an online classroom material, you have a better way to actually grasp the things. The reason why I'm saying this is this: if you are trying to understand in an offline mode, the board is your godfather, right? But when you are studying on an online mode, you can actually visualize the things. There are 3D models. For example, if you are talking about an organic chemistry reaction mechanism, if it's an SN1 or an SN2 reaction, why does it have to be an SN1? Why does it have to be an SN2? It's because you can understand the chiral mechanism, how exactly the reaction is taking place. That is going to be the most important thing. So using the online models, you can actually be a much better off, since you can visualize. What I would like to say, what I would like to conclude on that is that always try to visualize things. If you visualize the things around you, you can actually attempt the questions much more faster. I'm not talking about mathematics though, I'm talking about physics and chemistry, and you can actually visualize and get the answers at a much faster pace. So that's the reason online is going to be the medium in the near future.
Yes, Sumit, I agree that a person can always, through online mediums, he can visualize more and he can learn in a better way. And also, if
Right.
like you have missed out on something which classroom teacher was saying at that time, you can always go back and rewind these things.
That's correct.
So you will not be missing anything.
Since you would also have the recordings, so
Yeah.
at any instant of time, if you have any doubt, obviously somebody would have asked that in the regular class.
Yes,
in
you
case
have
not
more
have
time
asked.
to
So
grasp
you can go
the
through that.
concept, and it's a very good avenue indeed for students who learn things. So we are going to wind up this session. All the students who have been watching this, best of luck from me and Sumit for your exams. Go do well, and thank you for watching Guide to IIT. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sumit.